Imagine being caught in a terrifying, relentless storm, violent winds that seem to tear at your very soul, deafening, soul-shaking thunder, and cold, cutting rain that infiltrates every defense. Now amplify that image 100-fold and imagine that this entire atmospheric catastrophe is not outside your window, but happening constantly inside your head. Every single day, with every small or large decision, and perhaps most intensely during moments of quiet solitude, thousands of competing thoughts viciously compete for your attention, like ruthless warriors locked in a chaotic, never-ending battle. Nowadays, with the overwhelming, inescapable advent of social media, your brain is incessantly bombarded with a relentless surge of stimuli. News alerts, endless short-form videos, meticulously curated photos, and distracting memes. It feels like an utterly untamable, perpetual storm of information and emotion. Yet, centuries ago, one man not only faced this mental tempest, but demonstrated how to completely master it. Miyamoto Musashi, widely regarded as one of the greatest, most legendary samurai in the entirety of Japanese history. Through decades of relentless training and profound contemplation, he achieved something infinitely more valuable than battlefield glory: unshakable inner peace amidst the external and internal chaos. Today, you will learn the core secret of this mastery, a wisdom that took Musashi his entire life to discover. And in just a few minutes, your mind will possess tools that ensure it will never be the same again. The journey begins with recognizing and naming the invisible problem, an insidious enemy Musashi called the enemy that does not bleed. It is a foe you cannot physically touch, cannot see in a mirror, yet it silently defeats and drains your energy every single day. You know this enemy well. It's the hollow feeling after you've wasted 2 hours doom scrolling on Instagram. It's the chronic procrastination that makes you put off an important, life-changing call for weeks. It's the brilliant, world-altering idea you have at 3 a.m. that, by the morning light, suddenly seems irrevocably stupid. This profound lack of follow-through isn't mere laziness or a minor attention deficit. It is your own mind waging a relentless internal war against you. The fundamental problem isn't the existence of passing negative thoughts. It's the catastrophic fact that you have become their hostage. You are like a samurai who, through inattention and lack of focus, willingly hands over his sharpest katana to the enemy waiting inside. Musashi keenly discovered that our mind is constantly oscillating between two opposing forces. There is the warrior spirit, which is focused, fully decisive, acutely present, and anchored in reality. And there is the debilitating ghost spirit, which obsessively haunts the memories of the past, paralyzingly worries about the uncertainties of the future, or fixates on perfect possibilities that never existed and likely never will. Stop and sincerely think. What truly exists beyond the breath you just took? The past is irrevocably gone. There is no going back, only reflection. The future hasn't yet unfolded and remains a complete mystery. But the present moment exists, and it is the only true gift you possess. The critical question is, which of these two spirits, the decisive warrior or the anxious ghost, is controlling your decisions, your energy, and ultimately your life right now? The second essential lesson is the single cut technique, a spiritual parallel to Musashi's legendary swordsmanship. He possessed moves so precise, so final, that they could decide an entire duel in a single, devastating second. Your overthinking mind demands the exact same lethal precision. You can use this technique to overcome paralyzing overthinking and analysis. Here is the secret, honed over a lifetime of duels. When a thought, question, or doubt arises that threatens to paralyze your action, you have precisely 3 seconds to cut it. You must not negotiate with it. You must not analyze its validity. You must simply cut it and move on. What if I fail? Cut. What if I'm not good enough to start? Cut. What if they judge me? Cut. This isn't about achieving a vacuum where no thoughts exist. That is an impossible goal. It is about surgically stopping the feeding of parasitic, weakening thoughts that divert your energy. Musashi taught that a warrior does not fight with anger. He fights with clarity. When you decisively execute the single cut on parasitic thinking, you're not being unnecessarily violent with your mind. You're being incredibly surgical and strategic. Don't let your own mind become the force that paralyzes you. Take back the control that is rightfully yours. The third, most foundational practice is the silent morning ritual. Every single day, long before the sun had fully crested the horizon, Musashi engaged in a ritual that became the bedrock of his internal mastery. He simply sat in silence for 10 minutes. He wasn't performing complex religious rituals or striving to empty his mind. He was simply being present. This practice is not just a spiritual luxury, it is a profound strategy. Your mind, in its natural state, is like a vast, deep lake. When the surface is turbulent, stirred by internal storms, you cannot see the bottom, and clarity is lost. When the surface is perfectly calm, you see everything, the depths of your being, and the true reality of your path with crystal clarity. Here is the specific ritual that will transform your days. 10 minutes of silence, one priority. There are non-negotiable rules. Absolutely no cell phones, no news consumption, and no pre-reading of endless to-do lists. During those 10 minutes, you are not fighting to empty your mind. You are passively letting thoughts pass by like clouds in the sky, observing them dispassionately, but not clinging to them or engaging them. Crucially, as soon as the 10 minutes are complete, you must choose one thing, the most critical, important task of the day, and execute it first, before anything else. Musashi won his legendary duels not merely because he was the strongest swordsman, but because he was the clearest. Clarity is the single most valuable superpower that no one bothers to teach you in school. In modern education, we learn a vast variety of complex subjects, but we fail to learn how to be clear about what we truly desire, or how to manage our own thoughts and actions. People who perpetually lack this internal clarity constantly change their minds, their opinions, and their focus, tragically failing to complete anything they truly start. Tomorrow, before you engage in any task, try this, just 10 minutes. Your mind will resist fiercely. It will invent 1,000 urgent excuses. I have to check that email. I must see the news. Ignore them. This 10 minutes of silence is your first, most essential duel of the day.
The fourth strategic lesson is the power of quick decision-making. Musashi was renowned for his decisiveness, rarely spending more than 30 seconds analyzing a combat situation. Do you know why? Because he possessed the profound understanding that a good decision executed immediately is exponentially better than a perfect decision perpetually imagined or delayed. Think of the perpetual restaurant dilemma. You spend 20 agonizing minutes scrolling through the menu, change your mind 5 times, and still end up regretting what you ordered. This happens because you are trapped in the impossible task of trying to perfectly predict an unknowable future. But the future does not exist. Only the next single step does. We can summarize this as Musashi's 30-second rule. 10 seconds to rapidly understand the core elements of the situation. 10 seconds to quickly visualize your immediate options. And 10 seconds to decide and decisively act. Does this rule work for every complex situation? Of course not. But it works flawlessly for 80% of the small to medium decisions that you habitually put off every single day. That crucial message you need to send? 30 seconds. That online course you've been wanting to start? 30 seconds. That difficult, uncomfortable conversation? 30 seconds. In many cases, you don't even need that much time. Some of the most significant, life-altering decisions you will ever make will be forged in just a few seconds of conviction. Remember, fear does not diminish with time, it increases. Confidence is not a gift you wait for, it is a consequence of action, not endless preparation. Do not wait until you feel 100% ready to act. Simply act, and the confidence will inevitably follow. Musashi famously said, "To hesitate is to have already lost." Not because the first option is always the right one, but because acting gives you information, and information is the ultimate power. The fifth and final master lesson is the art of ignoring. Musashi possessed a rare skill among samurai. He knew precisely what to ignore. In the intense pressure of combat, 1,000 useless stimuli compete for attention. The wind whipping past, the angle of the sun, the noise of the surrounding crowd, the minute movement of the opponent's clothing. But only one thing truly matters: where the opponent is going to attack. Your modern life is identically distracting. 1,000 irrelevant stimuli compete for your finite mental energy every day. But only a small handful truly matter. Musashi created what we call the circle of relevance. Inside the circle belong the essentials: family, health, core purpose, and personal growth. Outside the circle belong the distractions: other people's unsolicited opinions, social comparisons, and unnecessary online drama. The single question that will permanently change your life is this action or stimulus in or out of my circle? That pointless Twitter argument, out of the circle. That judgmental comment about your appearance, out of the circle. That worry about what some anonymous person might think, out of the circle. This is not about becoming cold or insensitive. It is about the intelligent, ruthless preservation of your most precious mental energy for what genuinely matters. Musashi concluded, "A warrior chooses his battles, not because he's a coward, but because he is strategic." Any energy spent on something irrelevant is energy brutally stolen from the essential mission of your life. Today, make a tangible list. 5 things you must stop paying attention to. And every time they appear in your mind, remember the command: out of the circle. The climax of this journey is the 7 days of the Samurai Challenge. Now comes the most important part: practice. Musashi warned that knowledge without action is a self-inflicted illusion. Here is your 7-day regimen for mental mastery. Day 1. Practice the single cut. Every time a thought paralyzes you, cut it in 3 seconds. Day 2. Do the silent morning ritual. 10 minutes of silence plus the selection of one non-negotiable priority. Day 3. Use the 30-second rule on 3 small deferred decisions. Day 4. Define your circle of relevance. Write 5 things permanently in and 5 things permanently out. Day 5. Practice mindful breathing, 3 deep breaths before every important task. Day 6, focus on one task at a time. Eliminate multitasking. Day 7, accept 3 of your current imperfections and immediately turn each one into a tiny first step of action. Do not try to do everything at once. One day, one lesson, one crucial step. As Musashi himself said, the path of 1,000 miles begins with the single step. At the completion of the 7 days, you will feel profoundly different. Your mind will possess greater clarity, your decisions will be sharper and swifter, and your internal peace will be more solid. But this is merely the beginning. The true path of the samurai is a lifelong journey of refinement. Musashi spent over 60 years perfecting his mind. You have a few minutes head start. He left behind a final wisdom. The true warrior is not the one who always wins, but the one who never gives up fighting. Your mind will inevitably resist. It will whisper excuses, create false urgencies, and tell you that you are incapable. This is normal. Every person experiences it. The difference is that now you possess the tools. You know how to cut the parasitic thoughts. You know how to cultivate profound mental clarity. You know how to convert debilitating hesitation into decisive action. Do not wait until you feel 100% ready to act. Simply act, and the confidence will inevitably follow. Do not wait until you have time. Do not wait until Monday. Start now. Cut out a thought that's paralyzing you. Make a decision you've been putting off for weeks. Take a step, even the smallest one, because in the final analysis, we are not ultimately judged by the thoughts we had or the plans we drew up, but by the actions we took. The samurai within you is waiting. Do not keep him waiting any longer. It is time to fight. It is time to win. It is time to truly live.